I'm Jeremiah McKinnon, and this is NEC News Today. Here now are the top cannabis news stories from around New England for November 3rd, 2023. A coalition of cannabis businesses in Western Massachusetts has initiated a legal challenge against federal marijuana regulations, aiming to address the financial and operational hurdles imposed by the current state of law. The lawsuit filed against U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland focuses on the restrictions that are placed on much-needed financial services such as banking and insurance due to federal prohibitions, despite marijuana legalization at the state level. The plaintiffs argue that the federal prohibition is unjustified and unconstitutional when it comes to the intrastate cannabis activities. The lawsuit also seeks to affirm the rights of states to regulate cannabis within their borders and establish corresponding limits on federal power. The outcome of this lawsuit holds the potential to reshape the cannabis industry in states where marijuana is legalized. A former CEO of Connecticut cannabis company Theraplant, who now works for the State Department of Consumer Protection, has filed a lawsuit against her former employer. Jennifer Manzuk, a former CEO at Theraplant and current cannabis program manager at the Department of Consumer Protection, has filed a lawsuit against her previous employer, claiming that she's owed $375,000 in severance. Manzuk alleged that Theraplant breached their employment agreement by not providing her and another former CEO, Dan Emmons, with 12-month severance after their resignations for just cause. The lawsuit accuses Theraplant of making false promises regarding severance payments and also raises issues pertaining to unfulfilled bonus promises and the inability to sell shares. Cheech Chong are making a big debut in Massachusetts by launching their own dispensaries and infused beverage. Cheech Chong, the famous comedy duo known for decades of entertaining cannabis-focused humor, have announced a collaborative venture with Toro Verde to launch a line of cannabis dispensaries in Massachusetts named Cheech Chong's Dispensaries. Scheduled to open in November, these Cheech Chong dispensaries are set to be located in Whately, Greenfield, and Northampton. The Cheech Chong dispensaries are a rebrand of the existing Happy Feelings dispensaries in Massachusetts, with the goal of meeting the needs of both connoisseurs and novices alike. Cheech Chong are also introducing a new line of non-alcoholic hemp THC seltzers called High and Dry in partnership with Atlantic Beverage Distributors. These seltzers, containing 5 milligrams of hemp-derived THC with no alcohol and no calories, will be available in liquor stores across the greater Boston area, offering consumers a cannabis-infused alternative to alcoholic beverages. In celebration of these new ventures, Cheech Chong are organizing events, including a party at the Liquor Junction in Reading, Massachusetts on November 10th, and a grand opening of the Whately dispensary on November 11th, with opportunities for fans to meet the iconic duo in person. A federal jury has found a Massachusetts man guilty for bribery and wire fraud related to his attempts to influence local officials' decision to approve his client's dispensary application. Former attorney Sean O'Donovan, accused of orchestrating a bribery scheme aimed at securing approval for a client's recreational marijuana business in Medford, Massachusetts, has been convicted by a federal jury in Boston. O'Donovan, who once operated out of Somerville, was found guilty on 2 counts of honest services wire fraud and 1 count of bribery concerning programs receiving federal funds. The prosecution revealed that O'Donovan attempted to bribe Medford Police Chief Jack Buckley through a $25,000 offer to a relative to influence the chief's official decision on a marijuana business application. O'Donovan now faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison for each count of wire fraud and an additional 10 years for the federal bribery count. Sean O'Donovan is scheduled for sentencing on February 7th, 2024. In Rhode Island, the chair of the state's Cannabis Control Commission recently admitted in an interview with WPRI that recent sales data figures were off. Discrepancies have been discovered in Rhode Island's cannabis sales data reports, with variances totaling in the hundreds of thousands of dollars across various months. Kimberly Ahern, chair of the Rhode Island Cannabis Control Commission, addressed these issues during a recent interview, saying that these discrepancies did not impact the overall top-line sales figures, which have shown a consistent upward trend since the start of adult-use sales in December of 2022. Chair Ahern attributed the errors to the transition from a paper-based tracking system to a dynamic seed-to-sale tracking system. The numbers have since been corrected. Connecticut is preparing to double the amount of marijuana that recreational consumers are allowed to buy at dispensaries. Starting on December 1st, recreational cannabis consumers in Connecticut will be allowed to purchase up to a half ounce of marijuana per transaction, a doubling of the current quarter-ounce limit. The Department of Consumer Protection recently announced the change, attributing the increase to an ongoing analysis of supply and demand within the state's cannabis market. The new limits apply to only adult use customers. However, medical marijuana patients will continue to have a separate purchase limit of up to 5 ounces per month, with no restrictions on individual transactions. Last but not least, the Harvest Cup is once again scheduled to take over the DCU Center in Worcester with another cannabis competition and expo. The Harvest Cup annual cannabis competition and expo is set to return to Worcester's DCU Center on Saturday, November 11th from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, November 12th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event is a significant gathering of cannabis enthusiasts, industry professionals, and advocates from across the region. This year's Harvest Cup promises a comprehensive showcase featuring a wide array of vendors, artists, and the much-anticipated announcement of competition winners in various cannabis categories. Judging for the competition has been conducted over several weeks, with judges meticulously evaluating samples to determine the winners. Please visit theharvestcup.org for more information and to grab your tickets. For the absolute latest New England Cannabis News, head on over to necnewstoday.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video. Subscribe to NEC News Today for more great content and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode of the show. For New England Cannabis News Today, this is Jeremiah McKinnon, reminding you to always use cannabis responsibly and to enjoy your cannabis-filled adventures throughout New England.